Hi, everyone. Welcome to Metafide Spaces. It's Thursday, August 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see everybody again. And a little recap of the market here. BTC is at 117,005 USD, and it seems like it's having a great day. ETH is up to 38.70, so that's looking pretty good. And it's probably in reaction to the news of President Trump signing an executive order this morning saying that it's now going to be okay to hold crypto assets in your 401k. And that was something that just happened this morning. So that's big news for the overall market of crypto. It allows people to hold assets that they don't have to trade just during market hours. So it really changes. Again, it's a lot of things aimed at the velocity of money. So things are looking up. The fear and greed index is right in the middle, just about 54 right now. So slightly greed, but pretty neutral. And I think market's poised for a run. So we're looking pretty good. Everything's lining up. How you doing today, Matt?
Doing awesome today, man. Just got some new team hats and some team shirts. Gonna be shipping them out to the team members, and if we see anyone in person, we'll probably drop them one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you see Matt at any of the conferences, just make sure you get yourself a Metafide hat or Metafide shirt. Yeah, so Matt Cross, co-founder and chief business development officer, also roaming crypto, trusty mod, community extraordinaire, joining us from the other side of the world, or at least across the pond. How's it going today, man?
Yeah, so good. So good. I mean, every day when Bitcoin's moving in this direction adds an extra buzz to things. But we've got a lot going on. The community's buzzing. It's a
A
good
lot of
time.
green, a lot of green out there in the altcoins today too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I mean, I know our community are a strong believer and strong holders in a lot of altcoins as well. We've been waiting a long time to see a bit more green from there, and it feels like it's happening. And yeah, it's an exciting day on all fronts, I think.
Yeah, and I know usually Matt or I will go in there and crush everybody's dreams and say it's not alt season, but might be opening up. There might be room for some alts. Um, Although you got to really watch what you associate yourself with. I still hold to that, but not all are created equal. Some of the projects out there are pretty good, and I think they have some promise. It's just it isn't one of those things where a rising tide lifts all boats anymore. You got to really do your homework, literally do your own research. Don't just type it. So yeah, I would make sure you go and check it through. So uh, yeah, so today's topic of conversation is the memes behind the movement, and we were talking in the last episode about how we've realized that the way people communicate is through memes, and the way messages move through effectively through our community and through crypto in general is mimetic, and the way that you train people in throughout the game experience and connecting it to the support experience and getting the token, like that's mimetic. So it's a pattern that's definitely got a lot of value, especially with the community we have. But I think maybe let's just take a second and talk about, Matt, what are some of your favorite memes, not just about us but just in general?
I mean, my favorite OG meme has always been Doge, just because I remember watching the Snoop Dogg Doge videos where he like fights the Illuminati, and he's got to recruit all these people from Earth, and those were cracking me up back in the day. So I always like those. Um, I like anything that has, again, like a strong community that's not incentivized by money anymore. So people who actually have a real cultural approach, I believe that's, pretty powerful in the market. So, I'll even congratulate some of those fairly newer ones, even though they're not that new, but seeing like Pepe coin grow, like that definitely surprised me at the time because I thought memes were done and that, you would never see something kind of like, as big as Doge again. And you had these communities that really stuck together and were able to outrun the manipulators of the coin and actually grow to something a little bit more stable. So I like that type of stuff. And then any dog coin, that's always funny to see pop up. So
I mean, you're jumping ahead. You're connecting. I just asked which memes in general, not meme
oh
tokens. Like, I'm not asking you to shill for meme tokens, but we can get to that in a second. But like, what, just in general, like to sort of you know encapsulate the concept of memes for everybody. It's obviously it's a way to compact um, a bunch of implied meaning into something that transmits pretty easily and frictionlessly across a group of people. There's enough meaning there for you to be sort of understand what's going on and then get more involved with the community behind it. And it's a way to bring people together around a set of concepts. And the meme is sort of like the way to focus it. Um, it's like a semiotic device to get people to infer other things other than just the thing they're looking at. So uh, it's pretty useful concept, and all those meme tokens are like there's good things about them, I think. But I was just talking about what are your favorite memes in the internet culture, not just the not meme tokens.
sorry, my head's always so wrapped in crypto that I couldn't think outside the box there for a second. My apologies. But no, I think the ones that are funny are, like that classic, that baby who's got his hand holding, or like that grumpy cat, because everybody loves a little cat humor. Or there's a good one too from like they take a screenshot from like Real Housewives, and it's like with the cat at the table, and she's like yelling
Oh
at
yeah,
the cat and stuff like
that's a top shelf meme right there. I like that one. I think one of my favorite is every time I read the news, I think of the dog sitting in the house with it's on fire and he's just sitting there with his coffee saying, "This is fine." I think that's pretty much that should just be what the news prints every day. Is just that meme. So it's just like some kind of headline, that dog, you get it, move on. But that's kind of what it seems like. And I'm kind of partial to Kermit the Frog drinking tea. Like I think that amount of smug self awareness and Zen is a pretty good combination. Um, being a world, a world respected and friendly Kiwi roaming, traveling through the jolly old Europe. What kind of memes do you partial to?
I think this is a very simple question to answer. Anything with a giraffe in it, Frank.
We're getting to that, man. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you just broke the seal, so let's just go with it. So we started a joke at the company that somebody was sort of breaking my balls about, well, what are you going to do if this takes off and we have all this money, and I said I don't really care about the money because there's always going to be somebody richer than you, and honestly, we're doing this for choices, not necessarily money. Like we want to have the ability to like direct what was happening to our life, and I don't care about the money specifically. So I was like, well, what's nobody else doing? Why don't we just coalesce the world's supply of giraffes under our direction? So that seemed like a worthwhile goal. Somebody asks you, well, what have you done? It's like, buddy, I uh, I basically have a monopoly on the world supply of giraffes. Like, what are you doing? You have a 450-foot yacht? That's pretty cool, weirdo. But yeah, like that I think it was where it started, but where it is now is people are putting pictures of me shirtless riding a giraffe with jorts and holding a Metafide flag in the community. That seems to be a pretty popular meme inside of our Discord community and maybe general Twitter X community as well. So yeah, I gotta say, Dilly, I think that's all Dilly, and if it pleases the community, I'm happy to be a part of it. I guess. I don't know, Matt. Like memes are pretty important to our community. Like what have you seen in there besides me and Jorts?
yeah, no, I mean those ones are hysterical. I've seen giraffe of like Hulk Hogan in there.
Oh, Ric Flair
The
giraffe.
Ric
That's
Flair
the
giraffe
best.
is the best
Yeah,
one that and
Ric
he
Flair
faces
giraffe
off with a
is the
bunch of
best
others.
one.
And that one's
Yeah.
definitely hysterical. We have an entire channel just for giraffe culture. So we have giraffes that have been uniting with doges. We have like some furry giraffes that have been posted in there. We've had giraffes fighting with each other's necks. We got even the Toys R Us giraffe in there. So, our team is never at any halt for creativity. They continuously pump out some pretty good memes in there. So I appreciate everyone else who contributes to it as well.
Somebody made who made the Yeti hugging a giraffe? Like, where did that one come from, bro? I mean, because it just popped in there and I see it all over the place now.
I mean, a lot of this genius creativity does come from our one and only Diddly Pickles.
Okay.
Our trusty mod within mods. But she has a knack for nailing it. And it came up one day. Obviously, Yeti is one of our most beloved members and mods in the community. He shares a lot of love with all of the giraffes in the community, and I think that one has become a crowd favorite.
Yeah, I'm kind of partial to it as well. I like that one. Yeah, so this concept of using memes to transmit meaning, I think that there's a lot to it. So before we jump into that, now let's talk about meme tokens, right? Like what do you think is working well with meme tokens, Matt? Because they work well with some people. Obviously, for their investment potential, I'm not a huge fan because there's no utility propping them up. But I do like the ones that have managed to get a good community together. Like those people doing it for fun and not for just the sheer gain of the value of the token so they can rug everybody and run off into the wilderness. Like I think the communities that are building for the culture and for the lulls or whatever, like those are like that's worthwhile in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think, just going back to what crypto has become, memes are kind of an anti movement within it, where a lot of ecosystems right now are playing an extraction of value game where there's already a bunch of liquidity existing on ETH, and then their goal is to take as much liquidity off ETH and trap it into their new chain, utilizing some type of incentive to bring those people into that, new chain. And then eventually those incentives end, and you have users who aren't really motivated to maintain the community anymore because their sole purpose was to make money. And then those community members move to a new community that's offering incentives, and it restarts the cycle. And what it leaves us with is an extremely fragmented ecosystem where it's difficult for us to have stability and growth because there's no one community that's backing or supporting the early projects and builders in that space. And so I think,
Wait, are you saying that meme tokens are a cartoonishly subdued and hidden extraction mechanism to take value out of the crypto ecosystem? Is that what you're
no,
saying?
I think it's actually the opposite. I think it's an anti-movement where instead of, incentivizing people with just, blank rewards and money, they're actually incentivized by the culture and the community around them. Because, a
Okay.
lot of these communities don't have this giant faucet of rewards that come in. It's a bunch of people who get together, join a Discord, start making friends, start sharing memes, start sharing laughs. And next thing you know, they're like, hey, like I'll ride with the rest of this community, and this thing's hysterical, but let's see how far we could take it. And then you
Yeah,
actually get this growth that's all supported by like culture.
yeah. I think resistance with a sense of humor and a healthy dose of "fuck you" is a really good bonding mechanism. Like I think I like to see the manifestations of that. Like that kind of warms my heart when I see it. So there's a lot of communities that get together, like you said, for that reason, for shared culture. And they like if that's how Doge started, right? Like Doge, Pepe, the monkeys at Monkey DAO, like where just people just off doing their own thing so that they can sort of piece together. I mean, I know there's a bunch of other decent projects that maybe I'm not that aren't very at the tip of my tongue, but it's really good to see that stuff. And it does tell you that humans have within them the need to be self-governing and sovereign. Like it's just where they want to form their own rules and exist like according to some shared values. And I think meme tokens are at least an indicator of that at their best case. In their worst case, I think they're gimmicks to peel off and fragment the ecosystem. And in those cases, I really have a special place of disdain for the people that do that because I think it's spreading things out very much and making it like hard, like you said, difficult to it's making it difficult to get critical mass in any one place. And that's one of our worst enemies right now in Web3 and crypto is that the attention's not focused on places. You have people chasing things off and then they're getting disappointed and rinse and repeat, and that still keeps happening. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that I think you'd agree is probably one of the worst aspects of the ecosystem right now.
And that's just part of the cycle, right? Like memes were maybe originally the first anti movement where you wanted to, incentivize people through culture and true community. And then eventually those people who stuck together actually made money doing that. And then someone saw a way to capitalize that and then, build a counter machine to it where they just try to pump out as many of those as possible and then just rug everybody, utilizing the goodwill of people and the original, thought of community just to take money right out of their pocket. And that's exactly what had happened.
I feel like I've seen that movie before, possibly in politics, something like that. Like maybe that's like party politics. I think that's a good parallel for that, where people get together, they use people's goodwill and their sense of community to get things together, aggregate power, and then decentralize the ability to resist and make it so that the system keeps keeping on, but the people can't stand up against it. Which, if we're on the subject, is a great case for Web3 and crypto. Because when you look at kind of what we're doing, we're we're getting people the ability to form these communities, and eventually, I have at least hope and probably the belief that people will start to aggregate around what's good for them, and people will start to be able to make some good decisions and link themselves up with other like-minded folks who they'll probably find through the transmission of memes if they're going to be successful. They'll be able to start aggregating now at faster and faster rates because we have this communication preference set up that allows for quick transmission of packaged ideas, i.e., memes, and all the tooling is kind of there. The community is primed to use memes and mimetic sort of hints and jokes to aggregate people now. The same thing that was weaponized against them is also a tool that can bring people together because I think we just have to have the last bit that's missing now is just those good ideas and people being able to see success happen and want to join it. So that's kind of my hope for what we're going to do over the next few months at Metafide. I don't know about you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe in everything that we've ever said, and I think the space has really needed it. It seems like a lot of the things have stopped serving the people, and we're figuring out a way where we all can work together to, bring some value back to all the holders, and also, maybe correct the space a little bit as well. We've drifted away from the original ideas, and it's not going to work unless we have a strong community who's willing to stick up for each other and do what it takes to get it done.
That's right. Anything to add to this, rowing? Like just you've been watching it kind of go down. Like, where would you put the community appetite for, maybe coming together over success for, i.e., spreading the word? They seem to be pretty proficient at the whole overall concept.
I think we have a incredibly tight community who love what we're doing here and are super passionate about getting behind it. And what I love about what's happening in the Metafide space, especially what we're building up to, is it's almost this double play, right? We've got this great community and this great culture and this crazy giraffe theme going on in there, which everyone like is super confused about in the first 30 seconds or 30 minutes in the community, and then it clicks for them and they love it. And so it's building this great culture where everyone can come and have some fun and be friendly and get involved. But it's not just a meme, it's then paired with this really strong project, this really strong concept, this really strong utility on the other side of it, where everyone can get a bit more serious, they can play some games, they can compete with each other, they can win some fight. And so it's sort of like best of both worlds, where you've got the fun and the excitement and the culture of the meme, backed by the utility and the enjoyment and the fun of the game and the project.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it helps inform the way you go to speak to people and the ideas that you want to put forward when you look at, well, sort of what's existing there and what could that mean. And I'll give you an example because this is probably going to be news to a lot of people out there because I think people have asked us, well, what is the giraffe about? What's that mean? And instead of being like, well, Frank had this dumbass idea to aggregate a bunch of giraffes and eventually dominate the world supply of giraffes. That's obviously a ridiculous thing to say to anybody, especially in a public space. Matt said one time, well, giraffes are pretty noble animals. They prefer peace, and they're the tallest animals on Earth, and they can see really far off into the distance. And so, we're a predictions company, so we like to see as far off in the horizon as we can, and then tell everybody on the ground what's coming to help them get to a better spot, which is an awesome thing to do, and absolutely not intended when we started the draft thing. We just backported that into the concept. We lucked our way into it. Forrest Gump ran our way into the ping pong tournament like that. Like it was just, uh, but it works, like that kind of stuff. You're like, okay. Sometimes it's like, well, we have this thing going. Like, what could it be? And then you start thinking about, well, how can we improve it? And we got a whole bunch of people kind of like that at Metafide, where it's like, hey, you know what we can do? This could be good. And we have people coming together and thinking of ways to make the game better, the game mechanics better, the token distribution stuff better. And I think over the next couple, like 7-8 weeks now, I think everybody's going to look and see what we're doing and be like, oh yeah, those guys actually put a lot of thought into this. And now we just got to get really good about telling people about it, which brings me back to the memes again. So we have a people out there that will be pleased to know we basically have a full-time people of like working on making short videos and memes to blast off. You're one of those people, Roaming, so you're involved in that creation process, and I think I like some of the things that are coming out. Maybe Matt, we should share a couple of the concepts, and let's piss off Ashley, who's in the audience right now, and drop a couple of our favorite concepts before they make it out to market. Sorry, Ash, we got to do it.
Oh,
what do you think, Matt? What's your favorite one? You're going to be the bad guy on this.
I mean, I don't know if I want to talk too much about the videos, but I like the concept. Trading is a sport. I think that's one of the killer things, and I think one of the other ones is that like we're this attention economy right now is live. We live in a world where everything's on demand, and it's super important to us right now when we have limited amount of time. We pay attention to things that are live and that matter, and that's one of the things that we've been incorporating into what we're doing.
That's right. That's right. So I'll be the bad guy. Then I like the golf videos that they have teed up. So where everybody's like not paying attention and they're riding off into ditches and water hazards and stuff like that. Like I think it's one of those things where the message is like, hey, people are focused, like you said, on what's going on, but sometimes they're focused on other things. And what they're really focused on is things that are happening now and are live. And so that's what people care about. That's what we're doing. We're turning trading into a global sport, and it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to build it too. Um, and I guess, as is the tradition on a lot of these in these spaces, we should drop some alpha. And I think this is definitely the first time we've told anybody about this. We're going to launch a series of messaging ads and commercials over the next coming weeks where there will be embedded messages in them, Easter eggs, if you will. And people who solve the Easter eggs will be able to win bonus FIDE for the beta and for the launch. So each one of those will be mapped to different concepts. There'll be a place that you go to solve the puzzle. And if you solve the puzzle and you're one of the first few that solve the puzzle, you'll be rewarded handsomely so that you can have stuff in there. And what we hope is that people see like, oh, cryptography, puzzle solving, like it kind of fits with what we're doing. And we think it'll be a lot of fun too. Like I think instead of just making people like, oh, another stupid ad, this is one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going to watch this because I can get something out of it, potentially figure it out, show everybody how smart I am, and get rewarded at the same time, which is a lot of fun, I think, in that case. And so we are teeing that stuff up, and the mechanism for those things will be out there pretty soon. So, we're going to get that into the hands of the people in the next coming weeks. What we'll do is we're not going to tell you when we start, except we'll tell you that we started. We're not going to tell you which one, but we'll tell you that we started when it goes live. And then after it's been out for a little bit for people to figure out, we'll go back in and say, by the way, no one solved these ones yet. And we'll tell you the concepts that are there. We won't tell you which ones they map to give you kind of hints. So we're going to help everybody through the process. But I think that might be something that we continue doing all the way through when the project's live too. Like I just like the concept of code breakers and people out there like figuring it out. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to be able to win, a good bit of FIDE to do it. So I think that's going to be fun for us to watch it unfold. So we'll be using memes to your benefit, just like we're talking about the topic of discussion today. So anything else, Matt, like mimetic that we didn't cover?
I always like when you tell the story about how you can transfer ideas through memes, and how computers aren't as good at understanding how that's packaged, but it's still a way of learning and packaging up information and then being able to provide it to a larger audience where we all share in the same perspective.
Yeah, that's useful. And also memes are humanizing. Like it's one of those things where you're transmitting something that people kind of subjectively agree to in some sort of like whatever biological or spiritual consensus mechanism. And it's not like the thing we always talk about is the semiotic concept of a dog, right? So if you draw Bowie and I draw Brownie and we showed it to each other, we'd be like, oh, it's a dog. But they look totally different. I mean, Brownie's 3 times the size of Bowie. Mm-hmm. And but I would look at your dog and you look at my dog and be like, that's a dog. But humans can kind of understand these subjective edges and shared experience where computers are all about the definition that they're trained over, right? And it's like if you showed them something that was far outside the bounds of it, I think they have a harder and harder time of grouping things together. So it's one of the ways that as AI and things start to seep and encroach into people's lives more and more, the concept of speaking in packages and jokes and inside jokes and memes, like that becomes super important to stay connected. And I think it's one of the things maybe we can all keep in mind is just to like lighten up a little bit and give people a chance to interpret what you're saying, and maybe don't demand so much rigidity. And what you get in return is bigger community and people going on the trip with you. So kind of looking forward to seeing how this big experiment we're working on plays out. And we're getting there. Just about time. That's just about time to go. I want to say everybody can find us at discord.gg/FIDE-token. You can find us on YouTube at Metafide and on X at FIDE_AI. Make sure you're on this registration waitlist, surge.metafide.io. It's getting pretty busy. It's a long waitlist, but you still can get in. There's still room for you. at some point we'll get you in the game or early to the game when it goes live. So join us because I want to get as many people rewards as we can and get as many people to the game early, so you can definitely enjoy the referral benefits too of being in there, and you get the credit for bringing people with you. So make sure you're following us on any of those and on the Surge wait list. And in the meantime, we'll see everybody next week. We might shift up the hours on everybody. We're going to talk about that over the coming days and try to figure out the best way for some of you who are listening to us at night to get a better time for you to connect with us. So we want to thank everybody for staying up. Also, before we leave, shout out to a friend of Metafide Doge designer who got one of his pieces of art, his AI work, retweeted by Elon Musk today. I saw that thing take off. It was ripping through the internet. That was pretty awesome to watch. So shout out to the Doge crowd that came in all together, and also all the OGs that I see from our Discord. Great to be going on this trip with you. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Metafide is the only AI-powered Bitcoin prediction game where traders compete in real time to forecast BTC's price in a fast 1 to 5 minute round. Test your skills against global players. Take on 1x risk with the ability to win multiplied payouts and prize pots. The more accurate and early, the better the outcome. Pre-register now for early access to generational wealth.